Hello, my friend. Welcome to live chat. Thank you so much for being here. We got a spicy one today. We're going into the controversial zone. If you are not into this, if you are not interested in this topic, like I totally get it. Like there's so much go watch What's Up in Makeup because What's in Makeup has such a really good stories today. Like I totally get it if you're not interested because I keep getting comments from people like, why are you so obsessed with James Charles? It's like, I'm not obsessed with James Charles. This is interesting how this is unfolding. You know, this is my job. This is what I do. This is where I've lived on the internet for the past 8 years. And I find this stuff really interesting and I like the social discourse around it. I like talking about the who's and the whys and the choices people make. I find it all very interesting. And I like to hear, most important, really, I like to hear what you all have to say about the situation because sometimes it brings my thinking to a new level. And it's, that's what the collective brain is all about, is helping us all to think in new ways, and expand on our thinking, both about products and also about, life and people and human nature and all of that. And that's kind of what we do more in live chat, is talk more about people a lot. We do talk about products some, and in the middle section, we will talk about what's on my face today. I've got some cool stuff to share with you. But yeah, I mean, if you're not into it, I totally get it. No problem. But thank you for clicking on the video. I appreciate you. But I do want to give you a quick summary. So James and Morphe have both put out statements about their relationship and that it is coming to an end. I'm going to show both of those statements. I'm going to read them. We're going to talk about them. And then most importantly, we're going to have a discussion about what the statements are and what we think about what they said. We'll talk about it. So before we do that, I do want to say hello very quickly to the people that are here live in the collective brain of makeup awesomeness, also known as the people that are here in live chat live. If you are watching this on the replay, you can participate in the comment section down below. All right, Latina and Julio, down by the schoolyard. Good morning to you, Latina. I hope that you are doing well. Ginger Jeannie, good morning to you. And Monica, good morning to you. I did see that your birthday is coming up. Happy birthday, Monica. I'm so happy you're part of this community. Yasu Cherry, good morning to you again as well. Casey, good morning. Luce, good morning to you. Teresa M.O., thank you to our fabulous moderator and all of the moderators that are here this morning. I appreciate you volunteering your time to keep us, happy and safe and feeling good in chat. Thank you so much. Lana, good morning to you. I'm doing great. Lana wants to know how everyone's doing. I'm doing great. I'm good. I'm going to go hang out outside over at my best friend's house later, and I could not be more excited to do that. Daniela, good morning to you. Felicia, Catherine, and Jake's Baby Cakes, welcome back. Zenderly, good to see you. Haven't seen you in a minute. Very good to see you. Zenderly's been around forever. Good morning, Amy. Not to say you haven't been here, but I haven't seen you well. So happy to see you. Zenderly loves my t-shirt. This, if you've never seen Hamilton, it is now on Disney Plus. I highly recommend if you're into musicals. If you're not, well, either way, definitely turn on the subtitles because it can be difficult to, they sing really fast at times. But it's a very interesting story, so highly recommend. If you're interested in fun t-shirts, hashtag totally not sponsored. I get all of my t-shirts on TeePublic, but wait for their $14 sales because it's way better than $20 a shirt. $14 a shirt is where to go. But anyway, if I did not say good morning to you, good morning to you. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. If you're not aware of the backstory of what's happening with James Charles, it's all over the internet. You can just search James Charles and the news stories will come up kind of talking about it. I don't want to spend too much time on that today because this is really about, when James messed up, he did some things that are technically illegal, but it doesn't seem to, he doesn't seem to be facing legal consequences. That's why I'm saying technically legal in that I should say they are illegal, but nobody seems to be pressing charges. So he probably won't face any legal consequences for it. But he is facing some consequences in his business life, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. Adriana, thank you so much for joining the Collective Brain Elite. I appreciate you so much. All right, so let's show these receipts so we can talk about it. because it's important to see what we're talking about. So Morphe and James Charles have parted ways. And this is very important in the beauty sphere because James Charles has done a lot for Morphe. If you go to like Ulta's website and you sort the eyeshadow palettes by most popular, James's eyeshadow palette with Morphe is always at the top, if not the very most popular, according to that possibly inaccurate, resource. I don't know if that's, that is the most purchased, but that is the one that always shows up at the top. Maybe not the first one, definitely within the top three since it launched, and it launched quite a long time ago. He's made them a lot of money, and it was rumored, at least rumored, meaning that there's absolutely no evidence, but I have a good feeling that Morphe was probably going to be behind the cosmetic brand that James was developing. They are behind Jaclyn Hill's her brand, Jaclyn Cosmetics. If you go to Forma Brands was developed by Morphe. So you can see the brands that are under there. Jaclyn's was under there. And I would imagine it makes sense. Whether it was real or not, I don't know. But it makes sense that James's cosmetic brand that he's been teasing for a while would be under that Forma umbrella. So that leaves a bunch of questions that we can talk about as well. If that were what was happening, what is going to happen with the cosmetics that are supposed to be coming out very soon? Would they still launch because he's not technically affiliated with Morphe, it's Forma Brands? I don't know. We'll talk about that. But anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's get into the statements. Let's start with Morphe. So I'm going to read this to you in case you're just listening to this. Morphe says on Twitter, I think on Instagram as well, in light of recent allegations against James Charles, Morphe and James have agreed to end our business relationship and wind down sales of the Morphe and James Charles product offering. Second paragraph. It is and has always been Morphe's goal to create a positive, safe, and empowering space where all beauty lovers can freely share their artistry and passion for cosmetics, and Morphe is committed to furthering that goal. Okay, let's look at James's and then we'll talk about it. Same topic. James says, and you can read this on Twitter. I'm not sure if it's on Instagram. I'm not on Instagram that much. Accountability is something I've spoken about a number of times in the past. In my most recent video, I spoke about and took accountability for my part in conversations I had with a few individuals who told me they were over the age of 18. As I said in that video, I can't show change overnight, but will over time. Since posting that video, many other people have come forward with a series of misleading stories and false allegations, which have been reported on by many people, creators, and news outlets. My legal team has begun taking action against those that have spread misinformation and/or created completely fake stories, as this has gone too far. These stories have caused many of my long-term partners to receive considerable negative feedback, one of them being Morphe. I've loved every moment working together and am beyond grateful for what we've created together. That being said, I reached out to them and we mutually agreed to wind down our James Charles and Morphe collaboration, which is my only project with them. I'm continuing to take time away to learn and grow and listen, and look forward to coming back one day in the future as a better version of myself, James. All right, I need a sip of coffee for this one. So let's talk about the Morphe statement. I'm going to say what I think, and then I'm going to click over on what the community thinks. So the first thing that comes to light to me when I read this is that they are going to be winding down sales of the Morphe and James Charles product offering. So it's kind of like, I believe what they did with the Jeffree Star stuff was that they continued to sell it until they sold out. That's what it seems is happening. So they're not just pulling the products. Apparently, he has all the James code at Morphe. Use code James for 10% off, which is part of James's brand. It doesn't work anymore, and that happened before this statement came out. So, they're not just pulling everything. They're going to sell it first. So they're not going to take that financial hit. The next thing that strikes me as strange is the second paragraph, because it seems completely unrelated to the first paragraph. It's like, this is the information we want to tell you, and let's fluff up the end to give you a nice positive Morphe vibe before we leave, because the bottom really has absolutely nothing to do. Because when you put paragraphs together in a statement, you would think they would be related in somehow. So when they say, It is and has always been Morphe's goal to create a positive, safe, and empowering space where all beauty lovers can freely share their artistry and passion for cosmetics. Does that mean that their relationship with James and the allegations against him are preventing them from creating a positive and safe and empowering space where all beauty lovers can freely share their artistry and passion for cosmetics? I don't see that being, I think, safe, because they do attract a younger audience. Positive, yeah. Safe. I don't know about the empowering. I think they could have left it at positive and safe, because I don't think that James is stopping them from empowering people. I guess maybe speaking to like the victims, speaking out, maybe that they want to empower people. I don't know. I'm really trying here to find why the heck this even makes any sense in this situation. But as far as beauty lovers freely sharing their artistry and passion for cosmetics, it's marketing fluff. That makes no sense to me. That's kind of stupid. And it just, I mean, it's Morphe. Did we expect more? I don't know. I don't think I expected more. What's up?
Before you move on,
yes.
Can you do like a 2-minute recap of like the James Charles thing? We have like 1,400 people here. And
okay.
Like, what is?
Okay. All right. So John is saying that a lot of people are confused about what is happening. So very quickly, this is a trigger warning for SA, is the acronym for it. Underage, I don't know, interactions with adults. Okay. So just very quickly, James messaged underage boys on Snapchat, admitted to doing this, said that they lied about their age, and they said that their birthdays or their ages were all over. At least one said that his birthday and age, he was 15, was all over his socials, and James should have known. It was inappropriate. So there were potentially photos involved. There were definitely suggestive messages that he admitted to sending, just general inappropriate, asking the boys to do inappropriate things, asking them to go into the bathroom to do things that were inappropriate, interactions between an adult and a child. James is 21 years old. These boys were as young as, I think I heard somewhere 14, but I saw with my eyes 15. So I want to be as accurate as possible with it. And he has apologized. He has a full video out on his channel where he goes through everything. If you want to learn more, there's tons of stories about it. And that's why he is facing consequences for it. And I've put out, my public statements on that. We talked about it, I believe, in chat, not last week, but the week before. So if you want to hear more about my thoughts on that piece of it, you can go ahead and see that. I'm sure some of it's going to be happening in this chat. I did miss some people joining the Collective Brain Elite, but thank you so much to Gutter Queen. I appreciate you. And then, yep, I want to make sure I didn't miss any because sometimes it doesn't show me everybody. And there's a lot of comments today. Okay. So let's read what some of the things you all are saying. Okay, so Jake's baby cakes. James threatened legal action. 3 or 4 false statements doesn't change the fact that he admitted to 2 of the allegations. He admitted to it. I'm so disgusted. And we'll get to James's piece in a second. So what I should have held off on that one because I want to talk about Morphe first, and then we'll go into the James stuff. Okay, Angie says, Morphe is sketchy, James is vile. I'm not surprised that both of these statements are awful. Okay. Okay, Laura says, why is this man not in jail? The FBI should be all over him. I'm sure the authorities can get a court order to get all of his Snapchat history, and that I feel will be way worse than we even think. Possibly, we won't know. I think that at this point, in my opinion, that one of the families would have to press charges in order for there to be legal consequences. Yeah. Angeline says, some of these comments are so spot on. It's about time the cancel culture has a ground to stand on, a reason to stop supporting them, Yeah, I mean, and I think it's just, I think that there's a lot of negative connotation around the term cancel culture, that it's only, you cancel somebody as a punishment for their behaviors. You deplatform them. It's a very burn the witch kind of mentality. And I think this goes beyond that. I think this is about, not wanting to be around, to bring into your home. Like right now, you've been kind enough to invite me into your home. I'm in your house. Like what you choose to watch, you're inviting it into your mental space. You're inviting that into your home. So to invite a person that would do something like this and then act this way into your home, that's a choice. And you have to decide whether that's right for you or not. For me, it's going to be a no, a hard no. But it's not really about, I think, canceling as much as it's about let's spend our energy in positive ways, instead of the negative connotation of canceling. Like I just feel like this is just so much bigger than that, than just something trivial. This isn't drama. This isn't tea. This is about, something major that, in my opinion, major that happened, that we need to make choices about how we're going to individually handle it, because we as individuals add up to the masses. And that is why Morphe made the statement that they did. So it seems like most people in the comments are really interested in talking about the James piece. Thank you so much to Sandra. I appreciate you. Apparently, Angeline says Peter Mon mentioned me in a video. That's cool. I do very much like Peter Mon. I'll have to check that out. I have not seen that yet. Lots and lots of comments in chat. Okay. Okay, Victor says, is it actually possible that these kids actually lied? If not, why are they not pressing charges? Okay, so this is, I think, a really good point, Victor. It is possible that some of them, because there have been quite a few, have lied, but James has admitted to interacting with some of them, at least two. Two he has admitted to. So at least two are not lying. I would imagine more are not lying, but we don't know. We're not there. There could be many reasons for not pressing charges, and one of them is it's an emotional toll. If these boys have been emotionally damaged by this interaction, maybe their parents don't want them to be to carry this on. Maybe they don't want them to have to retell any uncomfortable stories. Maybe they don't want this to be bigger on them in the media. Maybe they don't want any more focus on them. There's a lot of reasons why victims don't press charges, and it just really is up to the parents and what they feel is best for their children. But it could be more complex than just this person did something wrong, so I'm pressing charges, because there are children and they're making an emotional choice when they press charges that's going to affect them the rest of their lives. So it's very complicated. That's just my opinion, though. That's just my opinion. Okay, so let's talk about James's statement. Okay, so I'm not going to reread the whole thing, but let's just kind of look through it. Okay, so yes, he did talk about in his video taking accountability. He talked about that. Okay, and he admitted that he did speak to some individuals who were under the age of 18. He can't show change overnight, but will over time. So basically, to me, he's saying, I'm not going to do that anymore, but I can't show you I'm not going to do that anymore because it just hasn't been enough time. And that since that video went out, now a lot of people are coming out, and he's accusing a lot of those people of lying. I guess for whatever personal reasons, they're kind of jumping on the bandwagon, I guess, to be a part of it. And he's saying that they're misleading and false, and that his legal team, okay, this is where it gets a little sticky, is that he's taking legal action against the people who are making the fake stories, and then people who have spread misinformation. So this could even go as far as drama channels, if he feels that they are lying, saying that something's true that's not. And he says, these stories have caused many of my long-term partners. So he's basically, in my opinion, it seems like he's saying it's not as bad as it looks. that yes, I did some things, but these new ones, they're not real. Yes, the ones that I admitted to are real, but these new ones aren't real. It's not as bad as it looks. I think that's the point of this paragraph. And that he is going to prove to you that these new ones are not real and that the misinformation is not real. He really wants to clear his name on this one. The second paragraph is talking more about Morphe and that they agreed that they were going to wind down the collaboration, and he's happy they got to make so much money together, et cetera, et cetera. And that he's going to, come back eventually, that he's going to learn and grow and listen and be back. So to me, this is what this says to me. And this is what I tweeted out on Twitter. Actually, let me pull that up because I feel like I really had my thoughts together when I tweeted that. And I feel like it was relatively articulate. So, all right, hold on. I also posted about my marshmallows that I made. If you want to see the marshmallows I've been making recently, you can follow me on Twitter because that's a whole nother thing of love. Okay, so this is what I said. It's many posts. It says, I get that James Charles may feel frustrated that lies have been told and that he's losing contracts. I get that. I get that he may want to clear his name with some allegations that he feels are false. This is not the time. This is the time to own up to your ish. This is the time to not make excuses and say, oh, it's not as bad as it looks. And you losing contracts and my life sucks. Like, I get it. Like, my life sucks because people are lying. This is not the time for that. Like, maybe you feel that, like in your soul, that you're upset and you're hurt and you can't believe this is happening to you. Like, I get that. But this is not the time to tweet that and to complain about that. This is the time to own up to your crap. And it's just, there's times you lash back and there's times you just say, okay, I screwed up, and you leave it at that. So I said, the fact is that if he wasn't having inappropriate interactions with minors, the ones he admitted to, none of this would be happening. It hurts to take responsibility. It feels less painful to blame someone else or say publicly it isn't as bad as it looks. I think he really hates how people are seeing him right now. But what he needs to realize is people are seeing him right now, not because of the lies, but because of the truth, because of what he admitted to, because of what really happened. That's why people are seeing him in a negative light. And we know it really happened because both parties say it happened. As the saying goes, this is my tweet again, you make your bed, now you have to sleep in it. Maybe some people are lying, but that doesn't change the ones that are true. Even if it's painful, you have to internalize when you screw up, especially when it hurts other people, so that you don't do it again. Because I have appreciated the comments under 2 weeks ago's chat so much. One of them that I did really hit me hard, and it was from a gay man who said, the gay community has been stigmatized for a long time as being predatory. The bathroom bills and all of that for transgender rights and, the LGBTQ, I should say, I shouldn't say gay, but all the LGBTQ plus spectrum has been accused of being predatory for as long as I know. And this just reinforces that stereotype. It reinforces that negativity. So it's not, and it's so public, it's so big that not only is he hurting those boys, but he's hurting the community as a whole in spreading that, yes, there are gay men that are predatory, and it hurts everybody. So I wanted to mention that because that post really resonated with me. It's hearted on my chat 2 weeks ago. It's a really long comment, but it's definitely worth a read. The last tweet says, it isn't about the lies right now. It's about the truth. Growth is painful. It sucks. I get it, but it's important. I hope you grow at James Charles. I really do. You may have realized this about me, but it takes a lot for me to completely and totally give up on somebody. A lot. I usually hold on to people a lot longer than most. And I like to give people lots of chances. I know that I've made mistakes and I've seen people grow and change and be better people. And I think that's why I have faith that people are going to be better people. I know some people, a lot of people have completely given up on James Charles being a better person, said that he's a predator and predators never change. And that's a very, very popular opinion. He is not in my personal life. He's not my friend. My children aren't interested in his content. I feel like I still have the right to hope that he will be better, that he will get help to be better. Because I don't think that his social circle is going to be enough help. I think he needs professional help, in my opinion. And I feel like I have the right to say that I haven't completely written him off forever, but I do feel that he needs a lot of help. And I hope that he does change. And if you disagree with me, that's okay. I would rather err on the side of giving someone a little bit more hope than err on the side of dismissing someone too quickly. I think that what I right now, I mean, we used to follow each other a long time ago, back when his palette launched. And when he did the thing to the Rupee sisters, when he stole their arrangement and claimed for it to be, his, it's like, this dude's cruddy, man. Like, how do you do that? How do you go online, find an arrangement for, he was the national anthem, claim that you wrote it, like outright claim that you've been working on this arrangement, and then go sing it. And then when people call you out, say, I didn't that no, I wrote that, you know? And then eventually he admitted that he did take it from them. That was the clue to me that I needed to unfollow back a long time ago. And he unfollowed me and I unfollowed him. I made a whole video about how I was breaking up with James Charles. This is a while ago. And that's such a minor thing, you know? So it's not like he's been a friend of mine, you know, but just mentally. This is just me mentally. I hope that he gets better. He is very young, and I hope that he makes some changes. That's just my thought. So let's hear what you all think. And I know I'm going to get a bunch of crap for that. But in the end, I mean, what I think in my own mind doesn't really affect other people as far as, you know, so. Mary says, "This T Public have a Tati was right shirt." I might wear that. I mean, people gave me crap for giving Tati and believing in her, and now we see what people are. You know, people realize that Tati was right, and I was I was on that side. You know, sometimes it's better not to. You know, this person's not very nice. Bye. Okay, let's see. Yes. Kitty says, kids lying about age is not a defense for SA. Oh my gosh, yeah. And this is what I had said in my other video. If you didn't watch it, I think it's really important that I reiterate this, is that I had said multiple times that James was the adult in the situation and he needed to be in control in that situation and make sure he wasn't talking to children. And these are boys that do not look like adults. Like, they don't look 18. And I know some people that are 18 look younger, but like, I think I'd said it in that video. If you work at a liquor store and you don't card somebody and you sell a 15-year-old alcohol, you're getting fired and probably going to jail. Like, when you're an adult, you have responsibilities to make sure that you're not breaking the law. You know, even children have the responsibility of making sure they're not breaking the law, but adults especially. You know, and it's on the adult. It's on James to make sure he's not breaking the law. It was 100% his fault, not the children's fault, in my opinion. Yeah, children can lie and be manipulative, but it's the adult's responsibility to make sure that no laws are being broken. And I think it's important I reiterate that, in case you didn't see the other chat. Oh, wait, hold on. I missed that. Hold on. I like this. Zara says, Tati was right when she told James' parents to come to LA and parent him. I forgot about that. She did, didn't she? I mean, now he's an adult, you know? He's an adult now. My parents didn't come to Towson University and parent me when I was making mistakes. I wasn't doing what James was doing, but I was definitely not always making the best choices for myself personally. But yeah, I mean, I do agree with that. Yeah. And Val says, I'm desperate is a disgusting excuse. Yeah, we talked about that in the last chat, how ridiculous that, like, no, Mm-mm. Nope, 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 nope. Big nope. Nope, nope. Nope on a rope. Nope. Yeah, exactly. NK. Kids lying about their age is nothing new. Absolutely. Okay, this is a really good point that I hear a lot. Jackie says, would you be so forgiving if those were your children? At some point, he needs to suffer the consequences for his actions. What's next? I'm not forgiving him. I want to make sure that clear. I am not forgiving him. It's not my place to forgive him. I was not a person wronged. Um, I think there's a huge difference between forgiving somebody and having hope for someone. If it were my children, would I forgive him? No, because I would be a person affected. No, I absolutely would not forgive him. And I would consider pressing charges. Absolutely. I would think that would have to do with my own children. My son is only 9. So, um, I would have to see how he was reacting to the situation and all of that. But no, I absolutely would not forgive him if it were my children. And I do think that he needs to suffer consequences for his actions. But I think, um, you know, having been a teacher, consequences for actions doesn't necessarily create change. Um, you know, and our criminal justice system is a you know um, the recidivism is an example of that. That's a whole nother topic that's incredibly complex. But consequences doesn't create change. If James really wants, and we really want as a society for him to be better, then helping him to be better through therapy and instead of screaming at him, but having hope that he can be better, I think is better for society as a whole, in my opinion. Because if you give up on somebody, they have no reason to change. They have no reason to be better. So I feel like having hope is better overall than not. So thank you so much, Jackie, for bringing this up, because this is a comment I get a lot, and I think it gave me a great opportunity to address that. So thank you very much for challenging me on that. All right, we're going to take a little bit of a break because it's been very heavy. There's a lot of people here. It's been very heavy. Let's talk about some makeup for a second. And then when we come back, we will probably continue talking about this. But I saw a comment I want to address. We will probably continue talking about this, but if we want to talk about other things, we can talk about other things. All right, so on my face today, on my eyes today, excuse me, I just have one shadow. This was PR. This is the Master Crystal Reflector in Quartz by Makeup by Mario. And it's just a really nice, I almost dropped it. If you want that wet look on your eyes, it's just really nice for that. It's just a little sparkly goodness. And I wanted to do something super simple today. But of course, I had to go with some colors. So Marlena from Makeup Geek was kind enough to send these over. These are the new shades of the Full Spectrum eyeliners. I used Ultramarine on my upper lid, and my lower lid, I used the shade Royal. So that's what's on my lids. And then, for my liner. And then I'm not as big of a fan of the cream color from Makeup Geek. It's too opaque for me. This one is a little more calm. This was part of the Ali Glines collab set with ColourPop. This is the creme gel liner in Honeydude. So I use that on the inner corner a bit because I like it to be a little more subtle on my lower lash line. On my cheeks today, I used, again, also PR, the Sigma Corderosa palette that is launching, I believe, on the 20th. I used this shade here. We talked about this more in What's Up in Makeup, if you're curious my thoughts on that so far. And then also breaking out a old classic, the Essence Pure Nude Highlighter. This is purchased. This is a great alternative to the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Powders. It's just a nice, subtle glow. It's very, very beautiful. I broke out another classic, the Lorac Pro Contour Palette, and use the light contour, a little bit of that today. And then on my lips, this is the YSL Rouge Volupte in shade 3, and that's all I have on my lips today. It's really pretty, and it smells good. It's like candy-ish. Smells nice. I feel like I'm not low energy, but I feel like I'm so somber today. It's a strange topic. It's a topic that I think deserves a little bit of heaviness. So yeah. All right. I wanted to click on this. Misal says, have you heard about Jeffree Star's car accident? I did hear about that, and I hope that he heals quickly. That's kind of all I have to say about that. I don't wish anybody to be in a car accident. Let me see. Okay. Yeah. Gigi says parents must parent, which he didn't have at a formative part in his life. Okay. Yeah, I did not know that he didn't have that at a formative part in his life. But I do think he could definitely use some parental advice at this point. If James were my child, I would be parenting a lot. Jenny, this is a really great point. I just read the beginning of it. He clearly doesn't think he did anything wrong, and it's not okay for him to treat people of any age like he does. He's threatening, gaslighting, demanding, aggressive, and to children and fans. 100% agree with this. I honestly don't think he did, and he thinks he did anything wrong. And that's what his actions are showing, is that he still doesn't get it. That he still blames the boys for lying. And even though he says he takes responsibility as an adult, I think it's more of crap, I should have done that. Crap, I should have carded them, but still blames them for tricking him, quote unquote, tricking him. So, yeah. It's not okay for him to treat people of any age like he does. Yeah. Oh, totally. Totally. I mean, he has been accused by multiple influencers and people that he's met of being a pompous a-hole for a long time. So it's nothing new. It's nothing new. Yeah, Angela says this is not over. James is not in the clear. James needs legal representation sooner than later. I think he does have legal representation, and he should. He absolutely should, because he broke the law. If you look, I did tweet it out. If you follow me on Twitter, I put all this stuff up there. I did tweet out California law on this, and what he did is considered sexting, and it is considered illegal. So he broke the law. And the consequence for this, I know it was $1,000. It was a combination of, it was either both or one or the other. The fine was $1,000, and the legal consequence, the jail time was either 6 months or a year. I want to say it was 6 months of jail time. So it could be 6 months of jail time or $1,000 fine, or the combination of both was the maximum that he could get in California, at least based on my interpretation as a non-lawyer. Reading the law. But I do have the tweets up if you want to see the copy and paste from the California, from the website. It was a lawyer's website where they had a bunch of information for clients. And that's where I got it from. And it spells out the different laws. Yeah. Melinda says, even if he didn't have parents parenting, he's a grown adult now and he should be held responsible for his actions. No excuse, full stop. Absolutely. Absolutely. This is interesting. Mel says, if you apologize after the story has come out, then you're only sorry for being caught. I think that that is true in this situation. I think that sometimes apologies can happen not publicly. And I think maybe, I'm trying to remember, he had said as soon as he found out they were underage, he unfollowed them and stopped talking to them as soon as he found out they were underage. So maybe that, I don't know. I'm trying here. I'm trying to find something. I can't find anything. You're right. You're right. I can't find anything. I'm done. I try to see all sides. I'm on all sides, like trying to see kind of, I know that upsets some people, but that's just me. I find human nature very interesting, and, I don't know. There's definitely times where you should not be looking for all sides, though. And that's one I could not, there's definitely not an all sides there. Do I think that Tati should take down the No More Lies video? I don't know. I don't know. No. I mean, if it were me, I probably would put it on unlisted which means if you have the link, you can watch it, but new people can't find it and search, and it doesn't show up on the channel. That's what I would probably do if it were me. But yeah. You all are so interesting to talk to. I love chat. Yeah, this is an interesting point, Cheyenne. She says, why does James target vulnerable populations, children, men with less than who would enjoy luxuries, etc.? This is not okay. It's a position of power. Absolutely. I think that it seems that James enjoys his position of power and being that person that can, what we're talking about as far as the men with less than who would enjoy luxuries, etc., was the situation, I believe his name was Gage, where with the Coachella ticket and how he said in the past about, was it Gage with the Coachella ticket? I don't know. I'm losing my James Charles guy stories. But also there was a podcast where he had talked about that he had offered to fly men or boys, people out to California that couldn't afford a plane ticket so that they could be in a relationship. And they said they didn't feel comfortable with that. So I think that's what you're referring to. So I mean, I think he seems to, based on his choices, enjoy that power dynamic. Makeup says the system defaults against the victim. Unless there are changes, perpetrators will keep getting away with life-altering behaviors. Who in their right minds testify only to be vilified in the press? It's a good point. It's a good point. Yeah, because it's innocent until proven guilty. So I think that's why, and that's the way our system has been. And I think that there should be an innocent until proven guilty. And in this situation, there is a proven guilty in that both parties say that it did happen. Until there are charges, perpetrators will keep getting away with life-altering behaviors. Yeah. Well, hopefully, James will realize that the actions are not okay. Hopefully, James will realize that his actions are not okay and make changes. But I don't think he's there yet. I don't think he's there yet. And he may never get there. And I may, I am totally open to being completely wrong about this and that there is no hope and that he's a predator and he's never going to change and he's going to end up in jail one day. Like I'm okay with being wrong on that. 100% okay with being wrong on that. And y'all can feel free to say, Jen, we tried to tell you. Like we tried to tell you he was awful. We tried to tell you he was a predator with no hope. Like you can feel free because I will deserve every bit of it. It's just, yeah. Interesting. I am Finley says everyone turned on Tati for outing James and then pounced on her after she retracted and blamed Jeffree Star and Shane Dawson. She absolutely cannot win. Yeah. And one thing I said before that I believe was incorrect was that she pulled back about James being a predator, that she retracted that. I don't believe that she did retract that he calling him a predator. She said she stood by everything in that video, but she did say that Jeffree and Shane put that in her head. And that she was sorry to him for being manipulated by Jeffree and Shane. So she didn't say that he didn't do the things that he did. She said that they kind of brought her to the next level mentally, I guess, with it. But you're right. Everyone turned on Tati. And I think that's something that it's the whole burn the witch mentality. It's when we forget that situations are nuanced. And we forget that we as the public will never know the full story of any of this. We'll never know. And any of these situations, we will never know the full story because we're not part of it. We're just watching from the outside. And the only thing we can see, it's like a puzzle. We only have so many pieces. There are pieces we are never going to be able to see. We're never going to be able to see the full picture. And just respecting that and understanding that and developing our opinions, knowing we're never going to have the full picture ever. I think people pounced on Tati because of the when she said that this is a trigger warning for unaliving yourself. I love that that verbiage because it's such it's a good way to say that. When she said that before she put out her video, she knew that James was in a tall building in Australia, I believe, and that he may unalive himself. And she put out the video anyway because Shane said that he was so full of himself he would never do that. And I think that's a big reason why Tati got flack, because that's not okay. That's not okay to do that. If she knew that he may take that route, then I think pulling back on the video probably would have been a better idea. So I think that was a deserved pouncing for that particular choice that she made, in my opinion. Because even if he is making those choices, if you truly care about somebody and the reason why you're making the video is because you care about them and you want them to change, then in order for them to change, then they have to be around, you know? Mhm. Bethany says, "You have to remember he is preying on children." Absolutely. Regardless of anything else, if you didn't know him, you'd be disgusted. Another example of celebrities getting away with things that others wouldn't. Yeah. Absolutely. And I wanna reiterate that me believing that he could change in the future does not excuse anything he's done. He's proved himself over and over and over again to be an awful person. From stealing looks and songs and the way he's treated people and, he's proven over and over and over again, for years that he isn't a very nice person, beyond being someone who has been preying on children is what it comes down to. But you're right as far as another example of celebrities getting away with things that others wouldn't. I do think that there are definitely situations where people that aren't celebrities would be held more accountable than he's being held accountable. Absolutely. Yeah. Mary says, "Y'all, if any of you use age as an excuse, I'm 21 and know not to talk to minors, especially not send explicit pictures of them." And I think that the vast majority of people do. And I think that you're absolutely right, Mary. And thank you for sharing that perspective. I mean, even if you aren't 21, think back to when you were 21. Were you interested in 15 and 16-year-olds? Like, no, absolutely not. Like, I think what I say? I was like, "James, you can't go to prom." Like, you can't. It's not your, because I was saying, I think it was in the chat 2 weeks ago, that it's like he hangs out with all these younger TikTokers and things. And I think maybe he was still feeling like he was like one of them kind of thing. But at the same time, it's like, you're older. Like, how? There's definitely something deeper going on here that's in my opinion. I shouldn't say definitely. There's something, I believe there's something else going on here that is not typical for a 21-year-old as far as the attraction to people that are younger. Because even at 21, you're not attracted to people that are in middle of high school, like a sophomore in high school, like, ew. Like that's an ew situation. And I know these kinds of things happen. And it's interesting because I've talked to people on Twitter about this. People have sent me private messages about, that they were 15 and they dated a 20-year-old, and how that, was a relationship, that affected them negatively. And I told this story privately. I don't even think I've ever told my husband the story, but, because it just kind of went out of my mind. But I told somebody the story in a DM on Twitter that I was hostessing at a Tex-Mex restaurant. I was 18, so I was of legal age. And there was a guy that worked there. He was in his mid-20s. And he was cute. He was a good looking dude, but he was in his mid-20s. And I thought it was cool to be with an older guy. And he found me attractive. And we kind of sort of dated, sort of. We didn't really go out on dates. We just kind of made out kind of thing. And people told me that I worked with, like, you shouldn't be getting involved with this guy. He's way too old for you. But of course I didn't listen because, I'm 18. And he ended up ripping me off for hundreds of dollars of my hostessing money, getting paid, $8 an hour or whatever to hostess, that I was saving my money to buy a car, and he ripped me out of money, this 20-some-year-old guy, you know? It's like that was my personal situation. And I was of age. There was nothing illegal going on. But that big of an age difference at that time period, it's just there's something that just doesn't fit. You don't have the things in common, in my opinion, that you need in order to be in a functional relationship. You're not developmentally in the same place to be in a functional relationship. And that was 18 and like 25, you know? So when you're thinking about a 15-year-old and a 21-year-old, they're developmentally in different places. It's just gross when it comes down to it. It's just gross. So, I mean, I know that there are outlier situations that might work out. Maybe you have grandparents or parents, or maybe even you were in a situation where it worked out. But I think that that is an outlier situation. The vast majority of stories that I've heard from people, most of them privately, they have not worked out well because it's usually the older person that's taking advantage of the younger person and pushing them to mature faster than they're ready, even if the younger person is a more mature person. Yeah. Jan says grooming is so prevalent online, and it's so scary that influencers can use their fame to their advantage over younger fans. And sometimes the kids won't know what's wrong till much later. Oh, totally. Absolutely. And that's kind of the way that I felt thinking back on the situation when I was 18. I feel that way now, where at the time I didn't realize the depth of it. Now, 40 in my 40s, I get it. I totally get it. And I hadn't thought about that in a really long time. Really long time. And then when you're older, another thing I think it's important to mention, when you're talking about, a 40-year-old and a 50-year-old, the 10-year age difference isn't going to make as big of a difference. I think the difference, like even when like you talk about like play groups with kids, the difference between my daughter's age, which is she's just turned 13, my son's about to turn 10. It's a big age difference even in play groups, 3 years. If you think about all of that, I mean, depending on the age of people, the difference in age really makes a difference. Oh, thank you so much. I'm just going to call you FIFA. I don't think that's right. Thank you so much for sharing, Jen. I believe you. Thank you. I appreciate that. And it wasn't really, a situation where I felt abused. And well, I mean, I felt taken advantage of, but I didn't feel abused. It's a different kind of thing. And I was an adult. I was technically an adult. All right, so we have about 7 minutes left. Yeah. Terry says Americans have no clue how bad the abuse of underage children is. It's horrible. And around the world, I mean, arranged marriages with children is a thing. It's still a thing around the world. There are so many situations. I mean, this is just an American's perspective of our society and our culture. But you're absolutely right, Terry. Thank you for bringing that up, because there is a lot of that in many different cultures. Flanny says, Jen, what do you think about some opinions that says this is a common thing? I think that even if it's common, it doesn't make it right. And I think that, kind of like how doctors have that vow to do no harm kind of thing. I think that we in our lives should be trying not to hurt people. Just because it's common doesn't mean it's right. That's my opinion on that. This is interesting. No Cause says, I feel like James just wants to be in control of his relationship. He said he felt mentally 40, so older men don't do it for him. He needs an 18-year-old. Sir, only creepy 40-year-olds date 18-year-olds. And I would say James is, from what I've seen, I would say James is definitely not mentally 40. As someone that is over 40, I would say he's definitely not mentally 40. He may think he is, but I'm curious to think when he's 40, if he looks back on that, whether he'll feel the same way that he really was mentally 40, because that's a big old no. That's a big old no, in my opinion. Oh my gosh, absolutely. Thriving and beyond, young people can feel special and have an increased in their self-worth when older people pay attention. This can be huge in grooming victims. And that's exactly the way I felt when I was 18. Absolutely. 100% feeling special, feeling, especially, when you have a celebrity. I mean, whether you want to admit or not, whether we want to admit or not, James is a celebrity. And if you have, like, when I went, okay, so when my kids were in school, I did career day over at my kids' school. And I went and I talked, this is my kids were both in elementary school. And I went and talked about what it's like to be a YouTuber. I brought my play button in and everything. You should have seen the kids stopping me in the hallway. I was walking with my play button in the hallway, and there were kids, they were like risking getting in trouble, getting out of line to stop me and say, "Oh my gosh, is that a YouTube play button? Are you famous?" Like, so many kids want to be YouTubers. And to have a famous YouTuber want to be friends with you and want to talk to you, absolutely. I mean, this is a very true statement. There are so many kids that see YouTube and, what you call it, the gaming one, you know what I'm talking about, as, being viable career choices. And it really is. It's difficult, but it is a career choice. And to have someone in that space that's so famous with tens of millions of followers, I mean, I agree. Yeah. Oh, me too. Me too. Spade said I was never manipulated, but like there were so many times looking back that people I looked up to on the internet could have abused their power over me. Oh, totally. Oh my gosh, absolutely. And I can think of multiple times too, when I was in my early 20s. Absolutely. And even now, there's so much more access to celebrities than there used to be. Yeah, my bunny Valentine says Tati was one of the hardest working YouTubers who managed to avoid drama. If it wasn't for her vitamin business, she would have been more credible when she spoke out. Yeah. And like looking back on that, I think it's possible that the reason why she did vitamins was because they had that connection to that guy that did vitamins. The guy that's suing her now, like he was a vitamin dude and James was friends with him and he's like, Tati, let's do vitamins because, my friend here does vitamins and we could do vitamins together. And it was probably because they knew that guy that she did vitamins. I mean, I'm sure she believed in them and all of that, but I do think she lost credibility when she launched the vitamins because a lot of people don't believe in vitamins as a legit source of nutrition and beauty from the inside out. I mean, I'm not going to debate whether it is or isn't today, but I'm just saying a lot of people don't believe in the vitamins. I know a lot of people do love the vitamins and use them and swear by them. One of my good friends uses them and absolutely swears by the original pink ones. But I do think she did lose some credibility there. That was kind of the first tick. Yeah, so many vitamins are a scam and so many of them are dangerous. You can't just go to a grocery store and pick out a vitamin and start taking it. Like, you can throw off your levels and mess yourself up really bad. Oh my gosh, absolutely. Lana says, you and I are about to be 43. Could you imagine wanting to be a YouTube star when we were in high school? I wanted to be a makeup artist and beauty counter in a department store. Okay, I definitely would have. That would have been my thing. When I was in high school, I wanted to be an actress so bad. Like, I had the bug. I wanted to be famous. I wanted to be an actress. I wanted to be in the magazines and I wanted to be on the TV shows and I wanted all of that. So glad that didn't happen. I'm so glad that didn't happen. I also wanted to be a writer. I thought about being a writer for like like People or whatever. Or back in the day, I wanted to write for Teen Beat. That was a goal. Back when I was like 12, I kind of wanted to be a writer. But yeah, I can imagine wanting to be a YouTuber. That would have been a thing. If I could tell myself back when I was like 16 that this would be my job, to be able to be in front of a camera and review makeup and talk about this kind of stuff, I would have been thrilled. Absolutely thrilled. I was in plays and stuff in high school and everything. And after high school, I did a couple plays. But I'm really glad that I did not have Instagram and all of that when I was younger, because I was definitely very much looking for boy attention back in the day, and it would not have gone well for me. It would have been very bad. So, all right, we are an hour in. That went by so fast. I just want to remind people watching this on the replay that this is a live chat, that I am speaking off the cuff. Not all of my thoughts are necessarily fully formed when they come out of my mouth. So just, remember this is live and not edited. And, I may have not said everything exactly perfectly or exactly the way that I, would have worded it if it had been a more this is more of a planned video. These topics are really difficult to talk about live, but I do enjoy it because I enjoy the live discourse. I would much rather do that than an edited video. So just a friendly reminder, and if you don't like me because of the way that I see the world, I totally get it. It's totally okay. I might not like you either. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding, not kidding. But it's like, we all have a right to have different opinions. And I appreciate when there are people that have other opinions in mind, because it helps me to think in different ways, even if it's just understanding that there's a different perspective. So hopefully we can all be respectful in the comments under chat. I'm a little nervous about the comments underneath chat, if you can't tell, because I'm a wimp emotionally. But I am, of course, going to keep the comments on because I do want to hear from you. But if you're mean to me, I'm probably going to either delete or block you if you're really mean. So just letting you know. All right. Thanks again for being here. I hope you enjoyed chat and hearing my perspective. And yeah, we'll be back next week, 10 a.m., I believe. Let me just double check the date, because I do have my next COVID shot. Yeah. So next week, we're going to have What's Been Makeup and Chat, but the following weekend, where it's the first week, what's the 30th? The first, April 1st, or not April, May 1st, we may not have a chat because I'm going to have gotten my COVID shot on Friday, and it just kind of depends on how I feel. But there won't be a What's Up in Makeup that weekend. So yeah, thanks for being here. Mad love to you. And I'll see you in a video very, very soon. Bye.